Now, the next topic which we are going to take is what is our system of election? What system of election does our country India follows? Now, a question is asked here that can we say that Indian elections are democratic or not? So, in order to answer this question, we will first have to have a look at how elections are held in India, and then only we could say that elections are democratic or not. So in India, the Lok Sabha elections and the Vidhan Sabha elections are held regularly after every 5 years, and after 5 years term, all the elected representatives come to an end. The Lok Sabha or the Vidhan Sabha gets dissolved after the fixed term of 5 years, and the elections are held in all the constituencies at the same time, either on the same day or within a few days. Now, sometimes the elections are also held for some single constituency in order to fill the vacant seats, and the seats may get vacant due to death of some candidate or resignation of some member. So such type of election is called by election, and the regular elections which are held at the same time are known as general elections. So we are going to talk about the general elections. Now, what are electoral constituencies? Now, when in the starting of the chapter we were discussing about the elections of Haryana, that how 90 MLAs, that is the member of legislative assemblies, were elected. You people might be wondering that how 90 MLAs were elected. Did every person living in Haryana voted for all the 90 MLAs or 90 candidates? So this is not the case. What actually happens is, in our country, we follow an area based system of representation. Our country is divided into different areas for the purpose of elections, and these areas are known as electoral constituencies, in which our country is divided for system of elections or representatives. Now the voters who lives in that particular area elects only one representative of that particular area. Now for the Lok Sabha elections, our country is divided into 543 electoral constituencies. It means 543 different areas. Now the representative elected from each constituency is known as the Member of Parliament or MP. Now, one feature that we have already studied about democratic election is that every vote should have equal value, and that is why our constitution requires that each constituency should have roughly equal population living within it. Now, the country is divided into 543 constituencies, and similarly, each state is also divided into a specific number of assembly constituencies, and that varies from state to state. There are different number of constituencies in every state. Now, in this case, the elected representatives of the state assembly or state constituency is known as member of legislative assembly or an MLA. Now, each parliamentary constituency has within it several assembly constituencies. Now, the same principle is applied for local administration also, that is for panchayat and municipal elections also. Each village and town is divided into several wards that are like the constituencies only, and each ward elects one member of the village or the urban local body. Now, sometimes these constituencies are also known as seats, and for each constituency represent one seat in the assembly. Now, when in that example of Haryana, we said that Lok Dal party won 60 seats in Haryana. It means that candidates of Lok Dal party won in 60 assembly constituencies in that state, and Lok Dal had 60 MLAs in the state assembly. Now here this two figures are being given giving the examples of Gulbarga Lok Sabha constituency and Gulbarga district in Karnataka's constituency. So this is given to show you the difference between the Lok Sabha constituencies and state assembly constituencies, that how different parts, different regions are divided into constituencies at different levels. Now we will read about the reserved constituencies. Now our constitution entitles that every citizen have the equal right to elect his or her representative, and every member can be elected, or every citizen of the country could have the chance to be elected as the representative. Now the constitution makers while making the constitution were worried that as they are offering an open electoral competition, but there are certain weaker sections of the society also, they may not have a good chance to get elected to the Lok Sabha or the state legislative assemblies, because they are being the ignored section, the poor sections, or the weaker sections of the society. So because they may not have the required resources or education or contacts and different other resources which are needed to win the election against others. And those people who are strong, who are influential and resourceful, may prevent them from winning the elections. And if something like this happens, our parliament assemblies would always be deprived of the voice of a significant weaker section, which is one of the significant section of our population. Now this would make our democracy less representative and less डेमोक्रेटिक, क्योंकि हमेशा जो पावरफुल लोग रहेंगे, जो अपर सेक्शंस ऑफ द सोसाइटी रहेंगे, हमेशा वही पावर में आते रहेंगे क्योंकि उनके पास ज़्यादा रिसोर्सेज है, ज़्यादा पैसा है, ज़्यादा कॉन्टैक्ट्स है. लेकिन जो वीकर सेक्शंस है, जो बैकवर्ड क्लासेस है, वो हमेशा इग्नोर्ड रह जाएंगे. इसके लिए जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसीज़ में जो रिजर्व्ड कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसीज़ का कंसेप्ट आया है कि उसके अंदर भी रिजर्वेशन दिया गया है, ये इसलिए लाया गया. इसलिए द मेकर्स ऑफ आर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन थॉट ऑफ प्रोवाइडिंग अ स्पेशल सिस्टम ऑफ रिजर्व्ड कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसीज़ फॉर द वीकर सेक्शंस. Now some constituencies are reserved for the people who belong to the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Now in a scheduled caste reserved constituency, only someone who belongs to the scheduled caste can contest or stand for election. Similarly, only those belonging to the scheduled tribes can contest any election from a constituency that belongs to a scheduled caste reserved category. Now currently in the Lok Sabha 84 seats are reserved for the scheduled caste. There in Lok Sabha 84 seats are reserved for scheduled caste and 47 for the scheduled tribes. Okay, as per January 2019. So this number 84 for SCs and 47 for STs has been fixed. और इन सीट्स पर क्या होगा, ये जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी सीट्स है, यहाँ पर सिर्फ SC कैटेगरी के लोग ही इलेक्शंस में खड़े हो सकते हैं और यहाँ पर सिर्फ ST कैटेगरी के लोग ही इलेक्शंस में खड़े हो सकते हैं. नाउ ये सीट्स का जो नंबर है, ये कैसे डिसाइड किया गया? सो दिस नंबर इज़ इन प्रपोर्शन टू देयर शेयर इन द टोटल पॉपुलेशन ऑफ द कंट्री, एंड दस द रिजर्व्ड सीट्स फॉर SCs एंड STs डू नॉट टेक अवे द लेजिटिमेट शेयर ऑफ एनी अदर social group. Now the system of reservation was later extended to other weaker sections of the district and the local level, and in many states Seats in rural panchayats and urban areas like municipalities and municipal corporation. The seats in panchayats and municipalities and corporations are also now reserved for SC, STs and OBCs, that is other backward classes. Now the proportion of seats reserved varies from state to state. Similarly, 1/3 of the seats are reserved in rural and urban local bodies for women candidates also. So, reservation is given to SC, ST, OBC, and women candidates. They have got a proportional reservation at Lok Sabha level, the state assemblies level, and the at rural panchayat level and urban local governance. At all the levels, some seats are being reserved for the weaker sections of the society. And why it is being done? So that the weaker sections of the society also gets an equal chance to contest in the elections or participate in the elections or come in power.